war on Ivy League institutions in particular. Let's put D1 up on the screen. Harvard is now under fire because the Trump administration, as everyone likely remembers, just from the last couple of days, has sent a letter threatening at least $2 million worth of funding. Billion, yes. Sorry, $2 billion worth of funding. That could go up to as much as $9 billion worth of, again, federal funding to Harvard. Then what you see on the screen, if you're watching this, is MIT put out a letter. This is from Sally Kornbluth, the president, who said, "I write to bring you up to date on developments in two areas where recent government actions are interfering with the normal functioning of MIT, diminishing our ability both to serve the nation and to attract the world's finest talent." One relates to federal funding, the other to our international community. They say, "We are responding to certain federal actions by going to court." Now, this is all on the heels of what the Trump administration did with Columbia University, and there are competing reports on Columbia University's willingness to actually comply.
Right, so the thing is, we got Krystal Ball and I don't know the young lady's name, but Krystal Ball is going to break down what's going on here with this Trump University, Trump administration. This kind of discussion you will not hear on any MAGA channel, because anybody reporting on this, they'll say, "Oh, you just hate Trump." The First Amendment is being gutted, okay? like, I mean, it is being graped, it's being gutted, it's being everything else, okay? It almost does not exist, okay? I saw Charlie Kirk post something about something on Twitter. I'm not even sure if it's even worth looking at. Why don't we listen to this report? The thing about the First Amendment is you don't have to like the people that you need to defend for it. You just have to defend it, the First Amendment. And yeah, man, it's getting to be a little like it's getting deeper and deeper, and people are acting like they don't see what's going on. It is what it is. Let's go ahead and get to Krystal Ball. These ladies are breaking it down. Let's get into it.
Keep the federal funding, but Harvard is pushing back hard, like we haven't seen other universities do. But it seems like it's actually creating a template for other universities to follow. And Krystal, let's just get into this back and forth that Caroline Leavitt had with Peter Doocy. It wasn't really much of a back and forth, but this is what we heard from the White House yesterday.
Follow up on something that you just said. Why do Ivy League schools get so much federal funding?
It's a very good question, and it's a question the president has obviously raised in his discussions and negotiations with not.
That's why I can't stand these people. So that's the question. The question isn't, so what's going on with, are we like kind of trampling on the First Amendment? I don't know. Okay.
Not just Harvard, but also Columbia and many other Ivy League institutions. We have the anti-Semitism task force, which the president promised and delivered on. The anti-Semitism task force is across the government, representatives from various federal agencies who meet on a weekly basis to discuss the question that you just raised. And I think a lot of Americans are wondering why their tax dollars are going to these universities when they are not only indoctrinating our nation's students, but also allowing such egregious, illegal behavior to occur.
And here's a post from Donald Trump on Truth Social. Yesterday, he weighed in once again. Perhaps Harvard should lose its tax-exempt status and be taxed as a political entity if it keeps pushing political, ideological, and terrorist-inspired / supporting, quote, sickness. Remember, tax-exempt status is totally contingent on acting in the public interest. Krystal, that is separate from the federal funding question. It's a similar question, but it's obviously a different question.
Before we get to Krystal, and I am gonna, there was a time in my life I wanted to meet Donald Trump so bad. I really did. Obviously, that time's gone. But if I did meet him, I would definitely say straight up, if I had one chance to say anything to him, I would ask him, how does it feel to be the president that will bring down this country because of the attack on the First Amendment that you have waged on students, on universities, and calling them terrorists simply because they don't want to fund a genocide? Like, what you're doing is wrong, right? Like, you definitely know, and you're gaslighting this whole country, and this is just a beginning. How can you be a part of that? What is the point? Why? What are we doing?
funding, what is being said, and maybe it's worth actually just bringing up D6 at this point. Sorry to skip ahead, control room, but this is an argument that has been made for generations in the conservative movement, that if you are getting federal funding, it is tied to complying with civil rights legislation, and this has actually been something that conservatives have pushed back on forever. And it was Rufo who really popularized the idea a few years ago now, that if Republicans regain power in the White House and the DOJ, et cetera, in the Department of Education, they should use that power to turn the screws on these Ivy League administrations that have benefited from this sort of relationship with the federal government, back and forth relationship with the federal government, to punish those universities for not being as open to conservative ideas as people on the right want to be. And it is true. I mean, like, Harvard is wildly, like, the faculty of Harvard is...
right. Let's just kind of, because like all right, let me see, because they were talking about Michael Tracy.
Particular ways. So that brings us to D4. What is the Trump administration threatening Harvard over? Well, some of it is civil rights, but Michael Tracy points out that one of the bullet points, among the many bullet points in the Trump administration's letter to Harvard that kicked all of this off, is titled Reforming Programs with Egregious Records of Anti-Semitism or Other Bias. Krystal, I'm going to kick it to you on that point.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't want to hear from Christopher Rufo or any of these people again about supposed, like, wokeness. This is the most woke authoritarian shit you could possibly imagine, including effectively what they want from Harvard is some sort of, like, MAGA affirmative action program, both in terms of the students coming domestically and abroad, and in terms of the professors. They also, I mean, there's just all kinds of ridiculous demands here. And the demand that you get rid of DEI does not sit easily with the demand that you also, do everything to combat anti-Semitism. Like, the whole thing is just, the specifics of it are almost less important than the fact that this is about the Trump administration, just as they have with media, just as they have with lawyers, just as they have with the courts, trying to bring to heel institutions that they see as ideological adversaries and potential alternative power centers. It is also a very classic authoritarian playbook, right? They want to be able to ultimately control what is taught, who teaches it, and what students get into the school. Now,
yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So at the end of the day, what I will say is this. I mean, at October 7th, I listened very clearly to what the ADL said. So I saw this coming. And then Trump told us this would happen while he was running for president. I mean, we see AIPAC, all of that. I mean, this is not a sovereign country. It can't be. Not with these kind of attacks on the Constitution of this country. And if there's anybody else out there who's trying to convince people otherwise, then I don't know, man. It's a crime to humanity to do so. I'm not telling anybody to do anything or none of that, right? But, this stuff is happening. This stuff is happening. So with that said, I will, I'm at a loss for words. I don't even know how to end this clip. I'm just at a loss for words. It is very disappointing to see the direction that this country is taking, but here we are.